Right, in this video, we're going to be taking a deep dive into HTML files. We'll be looking at different types of files and how to save HTML files. Buckle up, let's go. Before discussing HTML files specifically, I want us to get a better understanding of file types in general. All digital assets have a file type that indicates how the data is structured, encoded, and stored. We'll start by taking a look at very common file types you've likely come across. Firstly, images. Common file types include JPEG or PNG. For audio, common file types include MP3 or WAV. For video, common file types include MP4 or MOV. And for documents, common file types are PDF and TXT. An HTML file is a type of document, so it belongs in this category. It has the .html file extension. Now I want to look at creating, editing, and viewing files. Files are often created and edited in one program and viewed in another. For example, images. A program like Photoshop is commonly used to create and edit image files. The image file could then be exported as a JPEG. This file is then viewed in an application that can render the image, like Mac Preview or Microsoft Photos. This is no different to HTML. An application like VS Code is commonly used to create and edit HTML files. The HTML file is then exported with a .html file type extension, and this file is then rendered in your browser, like Chrome, where we are viewing it. This may be blindingly obvious to you, but it wasn't to me. I thought HTML was some kind of superpower file. I guess it was because it was the first time I was creating a coding type of file. The important thing to realize here is that HTML as a file type is no different to any others. It is created in one program and rendered in another, just like images. Let's now take a look at saving HTML files. HTML files are commonly saved in lowercase, and files containing multiple words are hyphen separated. We'll soon be creating an HTML file called first page. You'll notice that the file extension is .html, which means that this is an HTML file. It's all lowercase, and as there are more than two words, we separate the words by a hyphen. All right, let's jump into VS Code and make our first HTML file. Now, if you haven't watched my previous video on installing and setting up Visual Studio Code, I suggest you pause this video and watch the video appearing in the top right corner now. If you've already got VS Code set up, then you can continue on with me now. First, we go here and click New File, then select Text File, and then click Select Language, and type HTML in the search box, and click it. I want to be clear here. Just because I selected HTML, it does not mean that this is now an HTML file. I need to specifically save it as a .html file to achieve that. Selecting HTML as the file type previously just gives me some helpful tools specific for writing HTML in VS Code that will make writing it a lot easier, and we'll see soon. So let's write the simple paragraph we saw in the previous video. We had our P opening tag, the content I am a paragraph, and the P closing tag. Now, the good news about VS Code is that it has a built-in tool called Emmet, which helps autocomplete our HTML. So instead of manually writing the HTML tags like I did before, if I just write the letter P and hit enter, the paragraph tags appear. And this is what I was talking about before in terms of selecting this as an HTML file in VS Code. We get helpful tools like Emmet. I'm now going to go ahead and save this page. On my Mac, I'm going to hit Command S. For now, I'm just going to save this on my desktop, and I'm going to call this first-page. Again, following the rules we spoke about earlier. We have our HTML file ending in a .html file extension. We have the name of the file all lowercase, and because there are two words, we separate them with a hyphen. So there you have it. You've created your first HTML file in VS Code. And like we saw before, if I double click to try view this file, it's automatically going to open up in my browser because that's where you view HTML files. and you can see your first remarkable web page of I am a paragraph. All right, to finish up, let's add to our summary for this topic, Introduction to HTML. In this video, we learned about HTML files. We created our first HTML file, first-page.html. We saw that we needed the HTML file extension. The name of the file had to all be lowercase. And if there were more than 2 words, we hyphen separated them. Over the next few videos, we'll continue adding to the summary card. And don't forget, you can download all the summary cards and presentation slides from the bootcamp in the link in the description below. All right, we started off nice and slow, but now it's time to turn up the dial and cover some more challenging concepts. Click here to move on to the next video in the playlist, and click here to subscribe to the channel to get updates.